As we continue to deal with the mass shooting in Maine and the continued violence and human suffering between Israel and Hamas, it's often just impossible to shield children completely from it. So how do parents talk to their kids about the violence to help them better understand and to cope with it? Well, this is where Dr. Hilit Kletter comes in to help us start these very difficult conversations. Dr. Kletter, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I struggle with this a lot. I have a 4-year-old and I have an 8-year-old. And my instinct as a parent always is to want to protect them from information or images that may frighten or traumatize them. But is it a mistake, specifically with my 8-year-old or the older children, to shield them from what is happening in the world, particularly if there's a chance that their friends could be talking about it in school? I want to clarify, I'm talking about my 4-year-old probably not exposed to it as much as my older children would be. But when are you supposed to be approaching the conversation? And do you believe that it should be parent-led?
I think it is important to have these conversations. I think you're highlighting the reality that it's likely that kids are going to be hearing about it, whether at school or from their peers or even from other adults, right? It's all around us. And as a parent, you want to be able to be the one controlling the information and not having your child hear about it from somebody else. So it is important. I think as young as 4 or 5, you can already start having these conversations. And just to open it up by asking them, what have they heard? Or do they know anything about what's happening right now? If so, for the younger children, then that can lead to further dialogue. If not, just let them know, okay, if you do hear something, we can talk about it. Right? With older children, you can provide more information, but I would start very basic with just asking them, what have they heard? What did they know? And then you can tailor it and go from there. And it's also an opportunity to correct any misperceptions and provide them with further information.
So what can adults do to ease a child's anxiety when it comes to processing what they're seeing and hearing? And sometimes it can take a couple days. I know with many children, they'll see or hear something, and it takes a couple days for them to fully kind of process and react to it, correct?
Correct. I think it's important to, especially with older children, find out where are they getting information and what are they looking at, and to ask them how they feel about it and what do they think. What drew them to look at certain images or certain information. And from there, to open up the conversation to allow them to express their feelings around it. And depending on whether they find the content distressing, to help model ways that they can filter that information, whether it's limiting looking at certain content. Parents can teach about the blocking function, right, on social media. You can block certain images so that it doesn't constantly show up in your feed, how to search for reliable sources and know to assess the information, because kids may not be able to filter what is true, what is fake news. And also to be able to teach them coping skills. What can you do when you are feeling anxious? So things like deep breathing or tensing and relaxing your muscles. Movement is very helpful. Music and singing, different strategies to help them relax should they feel distressed by what they're seeing. And I think finally, also focusing the discussion not so much on the horror, but on what efforts are being done to help the people, and finding ways, if the kids feel so moved, of how they might be able to get involved to help as well.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And I'm curious, you talked about, the physical reaction to some of these anxieties and ways to cope with that. But a lot of kids, they don't really know how to communicate anxiety or fears that they might be having. It's too difficult to express those feelings. I'm curious, what are some other signs that parents can look for when it comes to anxiety in their kids, that signs that they may not know to look for?
Sure, you're really looking for any marked change in either their mood or behaviors from what they normally are. And as a parent, you know your child best, so you know how they typically behave. But some common signs that might tell you that they are being affected is if you notice any changes in their sleep or eating habits for younger kids and toileting. If you're noticing that they appear more worried or afraid, they might seem more isolated, withdrawn, not interested in fun activities that they normally would enjoy, or maybe not even wanting to go to school. Younger children might become more clingy or express worries about their caregivers, have difficulty separating. With older children, we might see more sadness, more not wanting to be around their peers or their family. So any changes like that, and especially if they persist, might be signs that something is going on.
Right. Some great tips there. All right, Dr. Hilit Kletter with Stanford Children's Health, thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And we'll be right back.